The Aranda people, elders past, present, and of course emerging. And it's great to have the opportunity today, just very briefly on this occasion, but to speak to local community leaders that are here in so many different areas today, working across so many different parts of the community. People from very different backgrounds, different perspectives, but coming together today, as this council does, to deal with real practical problems and seek to find common ground and solutions on dealing with those challenges. So many issues that we need to address. And to you, Matt, Mayor Patterson, thank you very much for your invitation again to be back here, and I want to thank you particularly for the opportunity to meet with you earlier in the year. And I want to thank you for writing to me about the challenges that were being faced here in Alice Springs. Those challenges are nothing new to Damien Ryan, who served here as Mayor for 13 years, and he understands those issues well. And together with Jacinta Price, our team here for the government, the Liberal National Party, particularly the CLP here in the Northern Territory, I want to thank them for continuing to be strong advocates for ensuring that here in Alice Springs that we do see this as the centre, the real centre, and an understanding of the role of particularly of Alice Springs as a regional centre in Australia's broader country approach to how we're managing the opportunities, but dealing with the threats that we face. When I was here, it wasn't just Matt who raised the issue of law and order issues. I remember doing one of the local radio interviews here, and I was rightly taken to task over these issues and what solutions could be found. And so I was keen to catch up with Matt then while I was here and get a better understanding of it and to take up his challenge. And so it was in February when we were right here and talking about the rising crime challenges. And the cold facts, they are quite compelling. House break-ins up 46% over last year, commercial break-ins, cafes, restaurants, newsagents, and all of this up 60%, and assaults up 6% as well. There are many things that we want for our people as a country, but that they can be safe and that they can live safely in their community and go about their daily activities and their activities in the evening and do so safely, to go for a run in the morning, to go to a local cafe, to go to school, to come home, to do all of this safely are things that Australians should have the opportunity for. We want Australians to feel safe. It is the foundation for everything that we hope to achieve. And the community has a big role to play in all of that. It is, as Matt rightly said, it isn't just one level of government that has to try and solve these problems, and that's why I appreciate his call to try and do that together. It's something that Michael Gunner and I have spoken about. How do we tackle the causes of crime? Well, you do it life by life with practical action. You deal with the causes of it, and those causes going back a long way. And you also deal with the practical issues of when and how it's happening right at the time. My father was a police officer, my late father, and he was passionate about community policing over his entire working life. He understood that law enforcement wasn't something you imposed on a community, it was something you delivered with the community so people could feel safe and people could feel a sense of shared ownership in the safety of their communities. But at the end of the day, he also believed it was a police force, not a service, and that you needed to have that element of policing to ensure that could be delivered on the ground and keep people safe. So having listening to those issues and working with Damien and Jacinta and working with local community groups here, I'm very pleased to say that we've created a $14 million plan to address youth crime and antisocial behaviour here in Alice Springs. It's about preventing crime, reducing antisocial behaviour and providing targeted help. It deals with practical measures and deals with some of the bigger challenges that are impacting on behaviour. It has a number of elements. Firstly, there was $600,000 for CCTV here at Traeger Park, at Food Bank Alice Springs Food Hub and the Alice Springs Steiner School. We're also funding diversionary activities, some $3.9 million. And that's over $1.1 million for the local council to deliver the Nurra Pali Safety at Home project. Now what that's doing is some 50 youth workers working in 26 specific communities, including in the town camps. So putting more youth workers in there to support, provide direction, encouragement and guidance and help deal with life by life in trying to turn things around. There's $1.3 million to the CUS Australia Alice Springs to provide youth camps. There's $1.4 million to the Choice Australia Management to provide youth training and early intervention services. So all up, some $3.9 million to fund diversionary activities. Then there's more community patrols, more often, and having them there more often. There's $4 million we're putting into that, and that's $2 million to the Tarranger Council to expand its existing night patrol service, and $2 million to the Alice Springs Council for the traditional owners patrol. Programs that are run locally by community leaders working together to ensure we can keep the streets of Alice Springs far safer. Then there's more safe and secure places for young people. There's $2 million we're investing in young people having their own places and spaces that can draw the best out of them. And we will work with the Alice Springs Towns Council to invest $2 million in a new youth-focused area for the public library. Then there's mental health. So often there are mental health dimensions to crime. This is not new. It is something that's been known all around the country and over a very long period of time. Addictions, depression, trauma, relationship and family breakdown. This is what can so often lead to both mental health challenges and then finds its way into antisocial and other even more serious criminal behaviour. So we have to deal with the causes and not just the symptoms here in Alice Springs and indeed around the country. So we're investing even more in mental health support and making sure that young people who turn 18 don't lose that mental health support, and we can transition young people into adult mental health support. And so residents of Alice Springs and surrounds will have easier access to mental health services with a new Head to Health adult mental health service in the area through a $3.4 million investment over 4 years. And finally, it's about jobs and making sure, like the young apprentices I've met today, one who's already got his ticket and the others who will be not far behind him. In addition to the commitments we've had across intervention services, we need to ensure there's jobs and opportunities, and there's something to aim at, there's something to aspire to, and local people will benefit from new incentives for regional employment. Jobs do create hope, they do build community, they do build self-respect, and they do create confidence. And so I'm proud we've been able to achieve through the pandemic having the highest number of trade apprentices in trade training, some 220,000 than at any other time since 1963 when records first began. So we'll be providing a boost to regional apprentices here with an additional 5% wage subsidy in the first year. This will be on top of the 10% support provided through the Australian Apprenticeship Incentive System. And we're providing some $22.6 million for the more than 29,000 additional in-training support places to ensure regional apprentices have the support they need. And so that's drawing on a broader national program, of which I see Alice Springs and the surrounding districts having a key role. In the budget, we've invested heavily in the future of regional Australia, not just in the infrastructure, not just in the industries that we know are so vital to the future of the territory, but investing in people, investing in their skills, investing in their safety. And this is what we're hoping to achieve. So, Matt, I am very pleased to be back here. I am very pleased to be back here with Damien and Jacinta. I'm very thankful that you raised this challenge. And I'm very thankful that you understood that it was a partnership that we had to come to ensure we could deliver on. It's not something that can set and forget. People here understand that this is a long-standing challenge, and it will continue to be. But I believe the $14 million we're investing directly here can make a big difference to this. And I think, hopefully, it sends the right message about the role that we believe we have to play. And I particularly want to thank Damien and Jacinta for the role that they've played in drawing this together. A real problem, a practical solution, which has been brought together by Damien and Jacinta, based on their good on-the-ground knowledge, not just of the problems and the challenges, but from their experience of knowing how to go and solve those problems and put real programs into action. So I want to thank Damien and Jacinta for the work they've done there. And again, Matt, thank you so much for raising this issue in the way that you have and engaging us positively in the way that you have. And this is how we get things done. Thank you very much.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison in Alice Springs.